The Rainbow Theater presents The Real Ghostbusters, Adventures in Slime and Space. When you hear this, turn the page. Let's begin now.
Ghostbusters! It was something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Yeah, there's something weird and it don't look good. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost.
An explosion rocked the Ghostbusters building and turned Egon's laboratory into a shambles. Peter, dressed in his full ghostbusting gear, poked his nose through a hole in the wall.
Say, Egon, would you mind keeping it down? The neighbors are complaining. From Alaska!
Egon climbed out of a blast crater.
I think I've done it this time. I've stabilized an ecto-electromolecular destabilizing field.
Ray picked himself up from a corner, glowing and flashing with stray charges of static electricity. He stared across the debris at a huge glowing framework with a bright red gridwork of light flickering within it.
Gad, what a breakthrough!
A piece of plaster fell on his head, setting off a new flurry of electrostatic cracklings. Egon ignored them.
All I had to do was refocus the cross-phase calameters to produce a triple didactic parallel overload. Now all I have to do is fine-tune the hydrophotonic phalanges. But I'll probably need a new interocitor, though.
In English, Egon.
I've created a plasmic strainer.
Ray was still flickering with electricity. Egon looked very excited.
Now we can disintegrate ghosts on sight.
Why didn't you say that in the first place, Egon?
Slimer oozed into view like a huge dollop of green maple syrup. Peter pointed to him.
Him, I expect to talk like that, but not you two as well.
Ray smiled.
I've been working on the problem of communicating with Slimer, Peter.
There must be something wrong with my ears. It sounded like you said you wanted to communicate with that heap of slimy ghosts.
No, I just said I'd figured out a way to do it. I've hotwired a voterizer synthetic speech library to the Banana 9000 computer. Now, if Slimer wants to say something to us, all he has to do is punch it up on the keyboard. The computer will speak for him.
Slimer tapped away at the computer, and it spoke for him.
I enjoy working with human beings. I have the utmost confidence in our mission.
Peter wasn't impressed. He raised his proton gun towards Slimer.
I prefer my own way of communicating with him. Aye, aye, Captain. Setting phasers on stun.
Slimer looked worried. He careered around the room, ricocheting like a gooey billiard ball, leaving splotches of slime in his wake.
Hey, he was only kidding, weren't you, Peter?
No!
Slimer charged into the plasmic strainer and squirted out the other side in 100 little green droplets, each one a tiny Slimer.
Oh, great! Now I'm gonna have to house train them all over again! Grab an ecto-Slimer net and help me round them up.
In no time, the little Slimers were getting into everything. They squeezed under doors, through keyholes, and even through a nearby mouse hole. It was pandemonium. The Ghostbusters raced around trying to scoop them up. Suddenly, several of them congregated around Peter and tried to cuddle him, dripping slime as they did so.
Oh, no! No! No!
That's good, Peter. Hold them there.
Ah! Get these things off me!
Come on, guys. We've got to get them before they get away.
Ray swooped with his net and caught a tiny Slimer, but it strained through the net into even tinier Slimers that splotched off in all directions. Things were getting out of hand, and swarms of little green slimers began escaping from the GhostBusters building. Egon tried to explain the situation.
No! Listen to me. Slimer has become molecularly discoordinated.
You'll have to speak our language, Egon.
Okay. Every time one of the little Slimers hits a material object, it shatters into a whole bunch more little Slimers. You understand, don't you, Ray?
Of course. By passing through the plasmic strainer, Slimer lost his cohesion. No surface tension. This is incredible, isn't it, Peter?
That's one word for it. I can think of several others. Anybody want to guess what they are?
Oh, don't worry. The process has to bottom out sometime.
Ray tapped at the computer for a few moments while the others waited. Well, how long, Ray?
412 years.
400 and...
No, sorry. I misplaced the decimal point.
Thank heavens.
4,120 years.
Egon looked desperately worried.
The problem is worse than that. He won't reform. Not ever. Slimers feed on ambient slimic energy, Peter.
I refuse to be alarmed. I'll wait for the translation.
Basically, it means that the slightest little bump and they'll fragment. Eventually, the entire planet will be covered with a thin layer of slime.
Egon leaned against the slimy wall of the lab. He slipped and skidded across the slippery floor, right across the room, waving his arms and shouting,
Try to imagine this multiplied 1,000,000 times.
Outside, all hell had broken loose. The Ghostbusters rushed to the window.
I get the feeling we won't have to imagine it.
Little green slimers were causing havoc everywhere. People slipped and skidded on patches of green slime, and cars slid into each other.
There's still a chance if we get out there fast enough with our slimic nets.
Yeah, maybe we can round up all the little pets before they slime the entire city.
Oh, sure.
The Ghostbusters hit the streets armed with only slimic nets and collection boxes. But they were too late. Cars and buses skidded wildly about, crashing into each other, and people slipped and fell on the slimy streets. Slime splashed around, hitting everything in its wake. It was awful. The little Slimers rushed into subways, manholes, and windows. The situation was totally out of control. The Ghostbusters grabbed at each other to stop themselves falling over in the mounting slime.
Okay, let's draw straws. Ray, pick a number.
6. But why?
Amazing. I don't know how you do it. That's the number. You win.
Oh, terrific. What did I win?
You get to tell the mayor.
I think we'd all better go and see the mayor, Peter.
Great idea, Egon. That way he can throw us all in jail at the same time.
When the Ghostbusters entered the big office, the mayor was standing behind his desk, looking annoyed. You boys have slimed the whole of New York City.
It's all right. It's summertime. No one will notice the difference.
It's okay, sir. It's only a little bit of slime. I think we can handle it.
We just wanted to tell you in case you heard any funny things.
Or even some things that weren't so funny.
First, terror dogs, then a walking marshmallow, now this. What are you guys gonna do about it?
Well, we were thinking of waiting till January when all the slime is frozen and then just carrying it away.
January? You're gonna get out there and clean this mess up right now. You have 24 hours!
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Your Honor, sir.
The Ghostbusters hurriedly left the office and fell down the slimy stairs onto the New York street.
Well, anyone got any ideas?
There is a possibility, but it's dangerous.
Go on, Egon. We're not afraid of danger, are we?
Speak for yourself, Ray.
Well, we could try reversing the polystratification on the plasmic strainer. so that a Slimer passing through it would have its polarity reversed.
There he goes again. Do you understand him, Ray?
Of course. Yes, it's dangerous, but it should work.
Winston looked alarmed as all eyes fell on him.
Don't look at me, man. I'm only doing this for the money.
Janine was getting fed up with all the bickering.
Oh, will you lot grow up? It's so obvious. If Egon can reverse the polarity of the grid and pass a piece of Slimer through it, then the process will be reversed. Honestly, it's so simple.
Yeah, but the trouble is, first we've got to catch one of the little beggars. Let's get back to the lab.
Soon the Ghostbusters were engaged in a wild, screaming chase.
Get them! Get them!
I've got him.
Don't scare him.
That way! No this! No that! This way!
Oh, man. Get that little sucker over there, baby.
But it was no good. The little Slimers were too quick for them, and they gave up. Then suddenly, one curious little Slimer glided through the grid all on its own. It passed through the plasmic field and came out the other side glowing bright blue. As it made its way across the room, several other Slimers rushed up to it and gave it a hug. Slime flew in all directions, then reformed as a bigger, single Slimer.
Good Lord, it works!
Go, Slimer, go. Get it together, man.
The big Slimer looked wistfully at the window. He wanted to get out. Winston flung open the window.
There you go, Slimer. Free at last.
Go, Slimer, go!
Attaboy, Slimer!
Slimer squelched onto the street, attracting more and more little Slimers to him every passing second. The Ghostbusters rushed excitedly to the top of the building for a better view.
Where is he?
Don't worry, Egon. He's probably out gathering up the rest of his pieces.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, Peter, what could possibly go wrong?
At that moment, a goofy-looking 50-foot Slimer appeared from behind a building.
All those little Slimers started feeding on whatever they could find all over New York. They've all been growing, and now that they've reassembled, there's too much Slimer. We'll have to see the mayor again. We're gonna need helicopters.
Helicopters? Explain, Egon.
Controlled bursts from the proton packs will neutralize enough of the slimic energy to reduce Slimer back to normal size. But we're gonna need to get airborne.
For the second time, the Ghostbusters found themselves in the mayor's office. He wasn't too struck on the helicopter idea.
Helicopters? Ah!
Was it something we said?
Get out! Get out!
Ray pointed towards the window. A 50-foot Slimer was peering in.
Look, Mr. Mayor.
I can't stand it.
Just then, Slimer reached in and pulled Janine out of the window.
He's got me! Let go, you big ape! Help me! Ray! Egon!
Now can we have our helicopter, sir?
The four Ghostbusters each streaked out across the New York skyline in helicopters armed with proton cannons. Egon peered into his targeting computer.
Red Dog 1, this is Red Dog 2. Target acquisition at 11 o'clock. Over.
Winston, in his helicopter, looked confused.
Huh? What'd he say?
Ray answered.
He said Slimer's climbing the Empire State Building.
Well, that'll keep the gorillas off. Where's Fay Ray, now that we need her?
Janine was still being held in Slimer's big paw.
Oh, put me down, Slimer! This is not funny!
As the helicopters came into view, Slimer snarled and put Janine down. Ray aimed his proton cannon.
Okay, Slimer. This is gonna hurt you more than us, but it's for your own good.
Each time a beam hit Slimer, he shrank a little and dripped slime at a furious rate. Within a few moments, Slimer had lost his hold and was floating gently towards the ground, shrinking all the time.
We got him! We got him!
Soon everybody, including a very normal-sized Slimer, had returned safely to the lab. Janine smiled.
It's really good to have you back, Slimer. Isn't it, Ray?
Yeah, one Slimer is all we really need around here. Hey, Peter?
Actually, one is more than enough.
Slimer rushed to give Peter a big hug. He stood there, dripping in slime.
It was something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Yeah, something weird, and it don't look good. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. If you're seeing things running through your head, who can you call?
Ghostbusters!
An invisible man sleeping in your bed. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
If you're all alone, pick up the phone and call.
Ghostbusters!
I ain't afraid of no ghost. I ain't a masochist. I ain't afraid of no ghost.